Alright people, excuse the mess right now, but I just got the Zoom 5-inch winged Fluke. So this is basically a take on the Sakamata shad, the 5-inch. First impressions, which I already straightened all these packages out, but believe it or not, I did take a couple pictures. They just, I mean, look at how nice that package looks. Look at that. Okay. Listen, I love Zoom, but this stuff was all scrunched up. Like, I don't know if you can see that little divot right there. And then in the head, I haven't touched this bait yet. This is brand new out of the package. I figured I would test this one just because it's the crappiest looking one. I'm going to put a hook in it and whatever. So first impression is, of course, quality control. Those are the two differences right there. As far as the plastic, I'll literally open this one right here. As far as the plastic, the Sakamata shad is definitely softer. I mean, the Japanese baits, I mean, I've got Japanese baits all over the place. I mean, I mess with all Japanese baits. That's one of their biggest things, is the softness, and that's why they work so well, and that's why you spend a little bit more money on them. So it's definitely not as soft. As you can see, they pretty much, I mean, it's almost exactly the same. I'll try to actually give you some better either pictures, or I'll put a different lens on and give you the exact differences. There's a little bit of a bigger pocket there. The pocket ain't so big. The tail is slightly different. Okay. The top is a little more square on the Zoom, a little rounder on the Sakamata shad. The nose is a bit different. Belly's a bit different. But I mean, they obviously tried to do their best to copy the Sakamata shad. I got two colors. Silver, what is it? Silver shad I got. And guys, I already tried to do my best to straighten out all these packages. Half of the packages came, they were all bunched up and screwed up, and then you're gonna get all bent up, you know, bent up baits. Even with this one, I literally just took that out of the package, guys. I didn't look at it at all. If you look, there's a little divot right there in the plastic. Not sure if you could see it. I mean, the quality control is never going to be the same. 100% not. And this one, what is it? Tennessee shad. Tennessee shad color. Really what I want to see, how does it perform? Because I got all these from Tackle Warehouse, and I'll tell you straight out, I got tons of the Sakamata shads in all different sizes. And if these don't perform, I'll be returning them. Alright guys, so the rod that I use for this size is a Ray Japan Sidekick. 6'7" stinger tip. It's a bad to the bone little rod. It throws this size bait perfectly. We're going to see what it does. Alright guys, so the first way we're going to rig this is we're just going to thread it on and have the jig head right at the front like that. This is the first secret. Whenever you rig up a new strolling bait, put it in the water and see how level it wants to sit. The more nose up it's going to be, the less side-to-side rolling action you're going to get. The Sakamata shad was not made for hover strolling. It has those side fins, so it does kind of stop it from rolling. So the Sakamata shad was always kind of a finessey, subtle roller. But here you can see the Zoom has an okay action, and it has a subtle roll. But right now it has that head up position. It doesn't sit real level in the water. So now we're going to rig it with the jig head on top of the head, slightly back, and it will sit more level in the water, and it's going to have a more pronounced roll to it. That is your second secret. If you want a real dramatic roll, you've got to get that bait to sit more level in the water. Each day, fish are in different moods. Sometimes they want more aggressive rolls, sometimes they want a more finesse roll. That's something you've got to figure out. If you're more vertical fishing it under the boat like a Demiki rig and shaking it, which I do all the time, you're going to want it sitting more vertical, not nose up, because they're not going to bite it. I didn't do it in this video, but you can mess around with the placement of that jig head and move it even further back on top of the bait and get it to sit pretty much level. Alright guys, secret number 3 is working your strolling bait with a lift and drop or stroking it with a quick snap. I personally like what the Sakamata shad looks like better than the Zoom. I think there's a nicer glide and a better spiral, but you be the judge. I've been doing this for months, but I hear there's a few elite guys, they've been doing it on Bass Live, so the secret's about to get let out. It is another really great way to catch these fish, especially smallmouth. So right off the bat, I think the Sakamata shad looks more natural. That tail is really special compared to the Zoom Fluke. And here when I'm stroking it, you're really going to see the difference in that tail. I slowed it down a little bit so you can see that tail wag. And when it drops, it's got a different spiral and a glide than the Zoom Fluke. Here's another picture of that tail. You have to slow it down. In person you could see it real well, but in the video I'm stroking it so fast it's hard to see that tail wagging back and forth, but it looks really good. So rigged up this way, it's going to be that subtle roll, but I think the tails are one of the big differences between these two baits. The tail on the Sakamata shad is definitely more natural and livelier looking, if you ask me. Here I'm rigging it on top of the head, and once again that bait sort of glides around. It looks real natural to me, a lot more level. You'll get a more dramatic roll where it's rigged like this. So for my final analysis, guys, I'm not selling my Sakamata shads for the Zoom. I think the Zoom will work. Me, I'll probably use them in practice, and then if I'm fishing for money, I'll use the Sakamata shad. That's how I'll most likely use it. I think it's a good replacement for the Sakamata shad, but you got to go out there, use it, see how the fish react. Please guys, like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.